Maplewood Diner was a popular spot in town, known for its classic American breakfast and cozy booths. It had been running for years, but not everyone knew the real owner. Most people assumed it was managed by the man who was always behind the counter, Mr. Harris, the head manager. But the true owner, Daniel Carter, preferred to keep a low profile. Despite owning multiple restaurants, he often visited them in casual clothes, blending in with the regular customers to see how things were running. One afternoon, Daniel walked into the diner dressed in a simple button-down shirt and jeans. He had just finished a meeting and decided to check in on his business without announcing himself. He had always believed that the best way to understand what was really happening in his restaurants was to experience them as a regular customer. As he took a seat near the window, enjoying the familiar atmosphere, a waitress named Jessica approached. She had been working at the diner for over a year and was known for her sharp attitude. She glanced at Daniel, eyeing him up and down. Unlike the other customers who had already been served, Daniel had yet to receive a menu or a greeting. Jessica crossed her arms and sighed. "Before I take your order, you'll need to pay up front." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "I'm sorry, what?" "It's just our policy," she said with a shrug. Daniel glanced around. He saw other customers, many of them white, ordering their food without any mention of paying up front. His expression remained calm, but inside disappointment settled in. "I don't see anyone else paying before they eat," he said. Jessica hesitated. "Well, sometimes we have to take precautions. You know how it is." Daniel's eyes locked onto hers. He knew exactly what was happening. She had made an assumption about him based on the color of his skin. Instead of causing a scene, he decided to see how far she would take it. "So if I don't pay now, I won't get served?" he asked. Jessica shifted uncomfortably. "Look, if you can't afford it, there's a fast food place down the street." A tense silence hung between them. Several customers were now looking over, sensing the discomfort in the air. Daniel took a deep breath and pulled out his wallet. He handed her a credit card, watching as she took it with a smug expression and walked off toward the register. A few minutes later, the restaurant manager, Mr. Harris, emerged from the back, looking nervous. He rushed toward Daniel with wide eyes. "Mr. Carter, I had no idea you were stopping by today," he said, his voice flustered. Jessica, who had just returned to the table with a receipt, froze in place. Daniel leaned back in his seat, crossing his arms. "Apparently, I needed to pay before I could order." Mr. Harris's face turned pale as he looked between Daniel and Jessica. "That's not our policy. I am so sorry, sir." Jessica's mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. Daniel remained calm but firm. "I own this diner, and I own 5 more just like it. So tell me, Jessica, why did you assume I needed to pay up front when no one else did?" Jessica stammered. I didn't mean anything by it, I just—" Mr. Harris turned to her, his voice tight with anger. "You know we don't do that here." Daniel sighed. "This isn't just about me. If I walked in here as a regular customer and was treated this way, how many others have gone through the same thing? How many people have you turned away with your assumptions?" Jessica's face was burning red now, and she looked down, unable to meet his gaze. Mr. Harris turned back to Daniel. "Sir, I assure you, this will be handled immediately." Daniel nodded. "Good, because if there's one thing I won't tolerate in my restaurants, it's discrimination." "Jessica, you're fired." Jessica gasped. "Please, I didn't mean—" Daniel shook his head. "You made a choice, and now you're facing the consequences." With that, Jessica removed her apron, her face filled with regret, and walked out of the diner. Mr. Harris continued to apologize, but Daniel simply asked for a coffee. He had already made his decision, and he knew that his diner would be better off without employees like Jessica. As he sipped his drink, he couldn't help but think about the importance of fairness and respect. He had worked hard to build his businesses, and he refused to let anyone treat people differently based on their background. That day, Maplewood Diner changed for the better, and the next time Daniel visited, he made sure to walk in just as he had before. Because a true test of a business wasn't just how it ran when people were watching, but how it treated every customer, no matter who they were.